Even when you lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello and welcome back, all you StarCraft fans, to BSL17 Round of 24 Group E. I'm Machine, and today joining with me is my co-caster vOddy. What's up, vOddy? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, but I gotta tell you, unfortunately, one guy who's not doing okay is actually one of the players in this group, because he's suffering from a power outage right now, so he's actually gonna be replaced, unfortunately.
Yeah, and for everyone in the chat, it's actually GoKu. Unfortunately, GoKu going through, as vOddy said, some power issues, can't be helped. But fortunately, Zero's pulled some strings and he's got a replacement match set up, and it's going to be the North American Terran Mars. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Should be an exciting matchup. What a great replacement, last second here. But before we get to that, vOddy, our first match of the day here going to be a doozy. It's cRoSs, the North American Zerg, facing off against SuGo, such a strong North American Protoss. And I gotta say, looking pretty dapper, man. Like, if this was a competition of looks, man, I think SuGo's already won it.
Yeah, he's dressed, like an assassin. He's ready to kill people, I guess.
Like a doctor or a surgeon or something. Yeah, I don't know, man, but he's looking good for sure.
But yeah, the replaced player is why we were a bit late with going live, but I think we're about ready to get into it if the players are ready.
Yeah, man, this is a matchup for the ages. I've had the fortune of watching both these folks face off many a time in just North American, ProLeague events, practice games. cRoSs, definitely an amazing Canadian Zerg that, all the other North American Zergs try to basically emulate whatever they can. SuGo, same thing. Such a monster powerhouse Protoss, man. I can't wait to get this one started. And as we all know, once we see this screen, we are ready to go. It's going to be cRoSs facing off against SuGo on Neo Dark Origin. Oh, okay. Never mind. I guess he's cRoSs's AFK doing some last minute meditating here, but we are about to get this one started. So yeah, vOddy, here we go. And spawning. Top left side of Neo Dark Origin as the purple Protoss, it is SuGo.
And on the other side of the map, as the blue Zerg, it is cRoSs, also known as cRoSsy. And this map, dude, I have to tell you, if you have prepared a strategy for this map, you can really smash an opponent who hasn't. We've even seen that in ASL, actually, like, for example, lurker containments on the bridges, stuff like that. Obviously holding the center on this map is huge, because you can basically deny the fourth base from even mining, not to mention contain your opponent. So we're gonna see the first probe here. Gonna put down a pylon at the expansion, signaling that it's gonna be either a gateway expansion or a forge expansion, most likely from the Protoss.
Yeah, very true what you said about controlling the center of this map. It seems so important. I don't know how many times I see Zerg players look like they're kind of struggling, early game on this map, but fortunately, if they're able to hold that bridge contain, take the fourth, and prevent Protoss from mining at their own fourth, it's just a very strong way to play this. But also vice versa, right? Like, Storm goes uphill, Dragoons have some range to them. If Protoss gets map control in the center, and this starts getting towards like fourth base territory, it can be a bit of a pain for Zerg as well. So
yeah, literally any race in any matchup except Zerg versus Zerg, it's a huge deal. And looks like we're gonna have a 12 hatch. Now this is an interesting play because, okay, 2 gate, by the way, so that's a big deal. But normally you don't go 12 hatch on a map like this, because Protoss is obviously going to block your expansion because it's a 2-player map. But sometimes Protoss knows Zerg is just not going to do 12 hatch, so they don't scout early, and therefore Zerg can actually do 12 hatch. But right now, We're gonna have to see if this drone actually goes for the scout, because you must see the 2-gate in time. If you don't, and you don't make enough links, if you only make 2 links, for example, and you make drones with the rest of your larva, you can actually just die, so...
I gotta say, I think this is about as perfect of a counter as cRoSs could ask for. Given he's got to recognize it, right? His first Overlord is in position, and one way or another, those Zealots are going to need to walk around, you know, through the center of the map. As long as cRoSs reacts in time, I think this one could be done pretty quick. But we are still seeing some drones, 13 supply.
On this map, though, it may be that the Overlord reaches the natural in time to see the 2 gateways without having the drone scout, so he'll actually have enough time to poo larva and make links. He's going to see 1 gateway now. And another Zealot coming out of the Fog of War, so he should maybe, yeah, and there it goes, sees the 2nd gateway. So at this point, as long as he banked enough larva, it's playable.
I mean, he should just, you just put a couple Sunkens down even at the natural. If he put 2 Sunkens down here, it wouldn't be such a bad idea, because he's really just got to hold 2 bases against a 2-gate, and I think he's fine. First Sunken, try to go down. Good blocking, though, from SuGo. Great control. Second Sunken going down here in pretty good position. We've seen a little bit of drone
blocking
harass.
Again.
Ooh, very nice block. Man, SuGo, I gotta say, he's controlling this very well so far, but the Zerglings are just about to hatch here.
Yeah, it is an issue not getting these creep colonies down. Getting a bad engagement here too, you really don't... Well, I mean, it's okay, but it's really not that good. A drone going down even. Usually what you want to do is... you produce fast on the products. Oh my days, this is... Losing drones too. You usually actually want to wait until you fight, because you can produce links faster. By sacrificing drone production. But
he might have done
felt
this,
like
man. There's still 4 Zealots and 2 probes at the natural here. Only 4 lings left from cRoSs. I gotta say, cRoSs is looking like he's in a pretty rough spot. Down over 10 supply, and I mean, these are full health Zealots. These, I really think he maybe have done it. Oh, 1 Zealot actually falling pretty quickly. 2, 3. Ooh, this is... Okay, this is close, though.
He has survived for now. So now, he did lose plenty of drones, though. Remember? And even a creep colony too, which we have to count as a drone. So, at this point, it's really going to come down to who's better at the follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, SuGo's going to need to transition here. There's really no space for a 3rd base anytime soon. Yeah, that idle drone not paying its dividends for cRoSs in the main here. But still, this is a big threat, right? The 2-gate Zealot. I mean, he hasn't lost too many probes other than the 2 original probes that he was harassing with. But we do see cRoSs has snuck out a couple of Zerglings to go for some type of counter pressure here.
Yeah, if these had speed and they got into the main, it could actually be game-winning, or even without getting into the main, because you can harass the pylon and take it down. But 2 Slowlings, I'm not really afraid of.
Ooh.
And we're gonna have a Nexus follow-up, which is not... Well, I guess you can predict that when you see a probe hiding like that, so he's gonna be expecting that, I suppose.
Oh, here we go. 6 Zealots pushing in here to the main.
Oh, look at that Sunken, it's too far to the left. Because he was trying to build it during the fight, so he couldn't position it well. Which creates a walk-by opportunity here, possibly.
At least cRoSs is aware of that now. I mean, still though, that was advantage to SuGo. He at least forced a full drone pull. When cRoSs is already in a pretty rough situation, that drone's still not fixed inside the main. So cRoSs not quite able to mine optimally, and already had his eco kind of neutered from the get-go.
Looks like we have a Zealot walk-by attempt at the natural at the same time. And, well, there are a lot of links at the high ground, so he turns around.
This is great, though. I mean, SuGo's just forcing counter pressure. He's forcing all these Zealots, and it's not like it's a big committal. As you said, that Sunken is not in range, so he could just kind of walk around all day.
Yeah, he's so economically ahead, actually, at this point. You know, I mean, look at the drone situation here. It's like looking like a ZZZero or something.
Yeah, it really is. We do see that layer down, though, for cRoSs, so if there is an advantage he has, it's going to be the tech in this game, as SuGo just now taking the gas inside his main. But still, though, I mean, SuGo's eco should be able to carry him through here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. As you were saying, he is behind in technology, but when you're this far ahead in economy, you can do a funny thing in PvZ, which is actually to play without Storm. Like, you can actually just go 7-gate, Mass Dragoon, and just kill everything. It's pretty funny, but like, that's a thing you could do, you know? Looks like we have a Spire going down, most likely. I have to imagine that the Spire in the main of the Zerg. And, of course, an issue for Protoss is or SuGo in this case playing Protoss, he doesn't know what's going on. So will he make a Stargate? That is an option, even after a 2-gate.
He did get a probe out and sees no third base in the typical third base location here for cRoSs. So, I mean, just through deductive reasoning, he should assume this could be 2-base Muta, like quick 2-hatch Spire play. So, still though, like, I think he's fine. He's got the eco. As long as he continues that probe production, he could just put a couple cannons inside each mineral line and play from there. Yeah, we're already seeing a cannon inside the main here.
Yeah, so this is looking like it's going to be what I have to call a bit of a muteless call in here from cRoSs. Getting some Zealots here though? Maybe? No, almost.
Yeah, kind of close. Nice little bait there from SuGo.
Okay, so maybe not on all-in. He's expanding behind it, so the Mutalisks will keep him safe until there's like a seizable amount of anti-air. So that hopefully is going to give him time to spam enough drones to catch up, is what I'm assuming is the plan here.
This is 5-6 Muta, so cRoSs, you know, I mean, this is a threat, right? If SuGo, for whatever reason, doesn't get the proper amount of cannons set up at the natural, you know, Corsair count maybe lags behind, there is still some wiggle room for cRoSs to do some damage here and get back in this.
Yeah, he probably wants to... I mean, any harassment he can cause with the Mutalisks is like extra damage. Because they are allowing him to expand and to spam drones because he's safe behind them. So in addition to that, if he also gets to do damage, that's just great. Now normally against 2-gate, yeah?
I was going to say, SuGo moving across the map here with his first Corsair, I think this is a big mistake against 2-hatch Muta. Something you see way too often, and it's already dead.
Yeah,
a player like cRoSs is not ever gonna let this get away. I talk with this, you know, about this same situation with Raz all the time, and whenever you're facing 2-base Zerg, you cannot send the first Corsair out. Just can't do it.
I mean, if you really want to, you can send it in a sneaky path so it doesn't get intercepted. But then at least there's a chance it survives. But if you just send it across fastest possible path, it's probably going to get sniped like that, yeah. Maybe he feels that he's so far ahead that he can, you know, sacrifice the Corsair for scouting, essentially.
Maybe. But wow, 2 Corsairs already going down, plenty of probes, and suddenly cRoSs in the dominant position.
Yeah, this is the damage I was talking about, where he's already getting value with the Mutalisks defensively, because it's allowing an expansion and drone production, but then in addition, he's also causing a ton of damage, like 2 Corsairs, lots of probes. Okay, that was a bad rally point right there. And lots of lost mining time as well.
This is a 2-port follow-up from SuGo here, so maybe there's a chance, you know, he waits for 5-6 Corsairs and is able to hit some kind of Speed Zealot Corsair timing, but I don't know, things are starting to look pretty good for cRoSs.
There's a chance that cRoSs isn't ready for it, but if cRoSs just plays safely now, he's very much ahead. Like, he can definitely have enough anti-air to deal with the Corsairs. You know, he's even scouting. Well, he's not going to scout the second one because it's up in the top left, so fair enough. But, you know, I was about to say against 2-gate, a common weakness you can exploit is that Protoss is low on gas, so you go for Spire and Lurker aspect at the same time, and he can't deal with all of the technologies. But I was thinking earlier on in this game, it actually didn't apply because he got such an early expansion relative to the Zerg. But now we're actually back in the position where Zerg could do that. Like, if he gets a Lurker at each base right now, you know, an Observer is very far away at this point. That's gonna allow like a 4th base if he wants to with drones, because he'll be safe until there's an Observer out, remember?
So there is a lot of Protoss moving out here. It's kind of a, I don't know, good amount of Zealots, not really enough Corsairs to be a threat. Few Dragoons, which feel out of place here. Yeah, cRoSs should be able to just kind of wipe this just by scourging the Corsairs and then using the remaining Muta to pick everything off. So I don't know. I think if you're SuGo, you got to sit back until you get your appropriate amount of Sairs here.
Did he stop making Corsairs after he realized he wasn't dead to the Mutalisks? Because we only have 3 Corsairs here, and even though cRoSs doesn't know, or we don't know if he scouted it, the 2 Stargates, he's playing as if it's only 1 Stargate and just dominating it.
Yeah, he really is. He's just staying on top of his money here. I mean, look at the supply now. very much in favor of cRoSs.
You can play... Okay, we got double Corsair production again at this point, but I don't know why I only had 3 right there. Walking out with only 3, it's not enough anti-air. You need like at least 6, preferably 7, and preferably with +1 to deal with Scourge, right?
I think he's just feeling the pressure. He probably realized cRoSs likely transitioned to that third base. It was a big drone cycle around that timing for cRoSs, so I think he was just hoping to try to mitigate that. But here we go. This is a good amount of Corsairs and actually getting right on top of those Muta there, so did get a few good pickups.
Yeah, provoking the Corsairs to come out. Okay. Okay, we got a cheeky expansion attempt there, but Zealot's right there, so that's interesting. That's actually to set up a containment later on, because you can sunken crawl to the right. But anyway, when you force the Corsairs out like that, not only do you get a chance to snipe them with Scourge, but you get to see how many there are, so you're actually scouting by attacking.
I mean, this is good damage on the Mutas, and he does move back with the Ser. Ooh, one big pickup though from cRoSs onto the Corsairs here. Now we're finally seeing Hydralisk being added in here from cRoSs, which is definitely the transition you want to go against 2-port Ser. Yeah, looking good.
Yeah, definitely a good option. And at some point, those will turn into lurkers. And if we don't have an Observer at that point, I mean, even if we do have an Observer at that point, it can always get sniped by Scourge.
Yep. Lurkers very strong on this map.
So we have a 3-base Zerg against a 2-base Protoss who doesn't have Storm yet. And until there's Storm, you can actually just make Hydralisks and kill everything.
Looks like a lot of Dragoons being added in here. I think SuGo needs to understand there's no way he's going to be able to make an attack right now, but possibly holding a third might be a possibility for him. We'll see. Ooh.
Okay, he's killing a few units because cRoSs is so spread out. But cRoSs being spread out is denying this 3rd base attempt that we saw earlier, so 4th base coming up across at the same time now. Only thing he doesn't have to really cement this advantage here is lurkers, but as I was saying, if there's no Storm, Hydralisk just beat everything Protoss has.
Okay, that was nice for SuGo, getting on top of quite a few of those Mutalisks. Now they're very bruised. I mean, there's no Templar to even snipe, so... oh, but the first lurker joins the fray, and this is a big problem here.
Yeah, so that might be why he's taking the 4th base right now, because he is of course safe until there's an Observer, and I'm not sure we even have a Robo yet, so...
Yeah, there's definitely not. It's too much, Zerg, at the moment. I think...
Yeah, this isn't even his whole army. He's got like 10 Hydras denying the 3rd base of Protoss too. You know?
Yeah. He's scouting, looking for Templars. I think he's a little worried. There we go. Good game called from SuGo. And game 1 will end up going to cRoSsy there. Very strong play. I thought the start was quite nice for SuGo, that, you know, starting off with like a 2-gate, it's definitely not something you'd kind of expect going into a series like this. But, you know, cRoSs kind of hung in there and did what he does, man. He played very well.
Yeah, the start was pretty good for SuGo, I agree. But then the follow-up, like, he went 2 Stargates, and I'm not sure he was making Corsairs the whole time, because it didn't look like it with how many he had, or a few he had. So the players are going to ban maps now. We're going to see what they pick. That's pretty interesting, actually, to talk about. We're going to see what they pick.
What do you think a good ban for cRoSs here would be?
So cRoSs has banned Invader, and Invader... I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Korean statistics because it's pretty different, you know, at that level. But like, Invader is a very good map so far in Protoss versus Terran, and in Protoss versus Zerg, it's like pretty even, but maybe slightly Protoss favor. But overall, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It is, however, a map that Zerg has to really adapt to. You can't play on that map the way you can play on some other maps against Protoss. But we're not gonna have to play on it, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much.
Gotcha. Yeah, they when I think of key features of the map, I think the double ramp, like outside the natural, leading to like 2 separate thirds, you know, or the center, and then your 3rd or 4th base. So you see Protosses get caught off guard a lot of times with like Ling run-bys on that map, or you know, Lurker Ling timings seem quite strong. You've seen a few of them in ASL, I'm sure. So yeah, but yeah, it will be SuGo's pick here. There's plenty of good maps in the map pool, you know, for SuGo to kind of move on with from here. You know, he could pick something very standard as well, just like a Polypoid, if he's feeling pretty confident in his play against cRoSs. But yeah, cRoSs up 1-0 here. Neo Dark Origin being that first map in the next series. Looks like it's going to be Apocalypse for semifinals. Or winter finals, rather. Oh, and the map will be Polypoid. I kind of suspected it with SuGo. But yeah, very, very strong map, 4-player map. I think this plays, you know, pretty well into just how standard normally SuGo likes to play. But yeah, with that, we should be ready to go here, folks. So let's jump into Game 2 of cRoSs versus SuGo.
So here we are on Polypoid. We got both players spawning on the right. cRoSs as the red Zerg on the top right.
And spawning bottom right as the blue Protoss, we have SuGo.
Alright, and SuGo got a position on this map that, if he wants to, allows for a pretty good wall. Like, because of the way buildings are in StarCraft, you know, some are wider, some are taller, rectangularly speaking. You can actually make better walls in some positions than others. Like, not only will your units spawn on the inside here, but if, okay, he's not going to go for it, but he could have gone for a wall that basically allows him to have one single gap only. So then you can go for like one cannon, maybe like a later cannon, even against 9-boot and stuff like that. But he's not going for it, which is fine. Sending his probe back, which suggests gateway expansion, because he's not scouting on the probe that made the pylon.
Right, yeah, it couldn't, you know, he wouldn't be looking around for something like a cannon rush or something like that, so... yeah, this could be like kind of a later delayed...
Well, he's sending out 2 probes right now.
That is a little odd. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it is a Forge expand.
Okay, this might be like a cannon rush attempt, so he wants a double scout to really make sure he finds the opponent, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. His first game was a 12 hatch, and this also seems to be a 12 hatch. Cannon rush can be quite strong versus this.
Yeah, so
yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, there are cannon locations on this map that you could go for, and he's gonna get to scout the opponent. Now, he has a choice now to prevent and pretend like he's not cannon rushing and just scout with the first probe and then actually attack with the second one, or he can go in with the scouting probe and reveal it, but get a faster rush instead. And it looks like he's... Okay, maybe he's not even cannon rushing, actually. So okay.
I think it was an audible. I think he realized cRoSs was so on top of that drone control, there's no way he's sneaking a pylon. Because, yeah, really, that's kind of been the story of this opener here. This drone has not left this probe. It is constantly engaging, and I think you were right. Whenever you send out 2 probes, that's quite a big committal after a Forge. He was likely looking for a cannon rush, just unable to do so because of how diligent cRoSs is being.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, maybe it was just like his way of scouting, I don't know, because he scouted later than normal, but then he sent 2 instead of 1. So maybe that's a good thing, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the same. Normally you send, you know, 1 probe a bit earlier than what he did. But in any case, cRoSs still hasn't scouted the opponent. He doesn't know what SuGo is doing, and he's actually taking a risk here. See 2 drones come out? If this were a 2-gate, he would lose the game right now.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a risk. I'm a little surprised with this. Also, third base late from cRoSs for sure. Notice the 2:45 gas timing, but it's a little delayed as well. At least as far as sending the drones onto the geyser. Oh wow, odd third base placement as well from cRoSs.
Yeah, it's
taking
going for the
top left
Kespa
natural.
era, natural of another main, so you can take the 4th base behind it. He could still go for like a Hydras or something early, but usually when you do this, it's because you want those 4 bases behind 2 entrances, you know?
Yeah, it's so nice. It's like playing in Zerg vs Terran or something like that, where one base can lead to another.
Yeah, also Zergs don't even do that anymore against Terran. It's just not a thing people do too much. Scouting everything right now is so good, because we haven't had any Zerglings yet, dude. That is mega economical play from cRoSs right here.
Yeah, it definitely is. Also, just not much scouting. Like, I'm very surprised. You know, I don't know how cRoSs can feel so comfortable without an Overlord at least placed outside that natural.
I think he got the probe with the drone, by the way, so that's going to be the end of the probe scout. But we do have a Zealot coming in to continue the scouting.
2 Lings out from cRoSs here. Hopefully he's got a few more on the way. Oh yeah, he's going to be able to hold this. 6 Lings at least.
Okay, the observer's confirming that the drone did indeed snipe the probe, so cRoSs, you're really on top of that as you were saying with the drone. Lings coming out perfectly timed, I gotta say, for the Zealot, just on arrival.
Layer timing has been scouted here from SuGo, so he'll know exactly when to expect that Spire to be completed. For Syl, it does go down though without a drone kill. cRoSs got to be happy about that.
Yeah,
wow,
so
that was pretty fast Corsair timing.
Yeah, it's looking like maybe +1 speed out, +1 Corsair is the play right here. So this is really looking like a 2009 Kespa game, you know, like the builds they're playing basically.
Yeah, kind of old school, kind of, you know, even just the base positioning, as you mentioned, top left natural. But yeah, we'll have to see how this one goes. Gas being taken at the natural here for SuGo. Drone count at cRoSs' third slowly starting to grow. I like the fanning out of the Zerglings here from cRoSs, getting just full scouting vision, not going to allow any proxy shenanigans or hidden bases to thwart his play here.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely scouted a lot right there. This doesn't catch the Corsair though, but he'll see that soon enough, and he might be assuming it. So we shouldn't lose even a single Overlord, because single Overlord popped out there, but he hid Overlords, so he couldn't actually find an Overlord in time. This one, if you go for this, you may actually lose the Corsair, and that's generally not worth doing as ProLeague.
Yeah, I fully agree. Basically, by the time that Spire starts for most of you Zergs, if the Corsair begins attacking an Overlord, it'll take about that long before your first Scourge can pop out. And yep, as we see, first 2 Scourge out, and because of the positioning on the map, the Corsair being above the Scourge, likely there is no retreat for this Corsair.
Yeah, we can even see in the minimap what looks to be 2 more Scourge. And if these Scourge are as bloodthirsty as the drone was earlier, then there's no hope for the Corsair.
Yeah, there's none. cRoSs he's too good of a player. He's not going to let this guy get home. And so you're trading a Corsair for a supply block. In some situations, it can be worth it. But oh wow, SuGo being pretty diligent himself. Yeah,
we had some pretty good multitasking too from cRoSs. At the same time as he was hunting down his Corsair, he pulled his Zerglings back. I was about to say, SuGo might have done a mistake there by sending the Zealots out first to make the Lings leave when he had a DT, because the DT of course can go by undetected or one-shot them. But he may have been actually distracting him by that, so that the DT could get in. But it doesn't matter because he got 2 sockets right here. Rock solid defense from cRoSs.
Yeah, very solid. There's no way a DT could have made it in there. I just really like the timing on these Sunkens as well. There's just no chance of harassment here.
3 Dark Temple were made. Okay, that's a big commitment. I mean, making 1 is like not a commitment. 2 is like we're getting a little spicy by the time, but 3, he probably wants to do a run by here.
I mean, would it be worth it just to pull it back and make a Dark Archon, maybe?
Well, he's going for Corsair production, and I don't think you want to do both. I think you do one or the other. So I think he's going to go for a walk by here. Just a wide walk.
Here we go. We'll see if it can work. 2 Sunkens and some Zerglings finished. Nope, not going to happen.
He could have gone in there, but he would have lost his units for doing it, so maybe he doesn't want to go for that. This is very risky, by the way. Going for this Overlord here, with only 2 Corsairs, he cannot fight back, he can Scourge right here.
Yeah, I don't like that he keeps moving out with so few Corsairs. You gotta just wait. You gotta, as Protoss, it's
do you see those borrowed Lings?
Yeah.
Dude, that is so strong, especially when you're playing like a passive, fast 4-base style. You know, you can actually win the game without even really fighting your opponent, because you're taking your 4th mega quickly, and your opponent can't even, sometimes he needs to get an observer there because he tries to get cannons, and then you just unborrow and you get the cannon, or you send in more Lings from the other side. It's actually brutal. SuGo wanted to expand there, but he wasn't able to because of the links.
Wow, this is such a great wall here from cRoSs, but actually that's still a lot of Zealots, a lot of DTs, a lot of DPS.
Yeah, so he's gonna provoke these drones to come out, and therefore one-shot many of them with the DTs.
Yeah, great control from SuGo. There was quite a bit of targeting down on those drones, but still, this is another thwarted timing. And as you mentioned, SuGo no closer to owning a third base at this point.
There's so much cRoSs could go for. I was about to say he could go for Mutalisks now, because whenever you destroy Corsairs for free, it really like makes a Mute the follow-up stronger, you know? But he's instead choosing to rush Hive. And getting... Oh, we have DT somewhere? Where is it? I thought I heard, okay, it's not in the main, it's just, okay.
Oh, blocking that mineral only, or drone transfer.
We're all, you know, hardwired to react to DT sounds, so I got a little scared there. But having a Hive this fast is gonna be insane, because even if he doesn't use it for anything in particular, he can at least get Adrenal Gland, which makes Zerglings, like, insanely strong, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Adrenal Gland, one of the best upgrades. I think it increases Ling DPS by like 20%, and as you know, Zergling damage is already pretty insane. It's this is such a bizarre game to see, because I haven't seen this style of play in, I mean, a few years. At least this has been out of the meta.
Yeah, expanding like this and then borrowing links everywhere is like exactly what I did when I played Zerg. It's exactly what I did. It's a lot of fun. Queens.
Oh, Queens.
Okay.
He's
okay, you know what this is?
man.
No,
But
I mean, okay, Zero did this like in like 2009 or 8 or something. Queen, as he's known by now.
Yep.
Where basically you just run around and you're like a total annoying asshole. Okay, but hold that thought actually, because we have a DT here, and I don't know if we even have overall speed actually, and at the same time he's distracting with an attack at the front. So, okay, cRoSs does
good
know
reaction time. He's still probably gonna lose his Spire for it though, or something.
Yeah, I wonder if he's unironically getting ensnared to use on that DT to detect it. That it might actually be the player. I'm not sure.
I mean, it definitely could be. We'll have to wait and see. One Spore going down. Looks like the spawning pool going to be targeted from that DT. This is pretty good damage, I gotta say. We're starting to see the supplies get a little more.
Yeah, this is really good. I agree. This is great. If we had a fourth base on the way, I'd feel okay for Protoss right now. However,
yeah,
we still only have a third mineral only, which is a big yikes against the Hive Zerg. And yeah, Adrenal Links are just gonna come out here. But anyway, as I was saying, this is the style that we actually saw in ProLeague like a long time ago. Queen, he won a ProLeague game by basically harassing with links everywhere, like burrow, you can't expand, like sniping the probe, canceling the cannons, and so on. And then you just keep making links, and you get to Hive, and you're like only making links and a few queens to Broodling the Templar. But we have a Reaver coming out, and you cannot Broodling the Reaver, so that might be a good response here.
Yeah, I've always wondered why you can't Broodling Reavers. I know they're like a mechanical unit. Yeah, they're just a robot, but...
Yeah, there's no siege tank guy yelling inside of it.
SuGo does need to get a fourth base. I almost would like him to not attack here and just focus on getting a fourth base.
He must get a fourth. But I don't know if he has an observer, so he would have to make cannons at the fourth, actually.
No wall in front of these cannons, and we do have a Reaver. Reavers don't really care about Zerglings or Sunkens, so nice counter here, gotta say,
this is
from
the one
SuGo.
chance SuGo has. And yes, you were saying, Broodlings, does he have energy even?
Oh, don't storm your Reaver, dude!
Oh, dude!
Come on, man! So one thing he had to do that he couldn't do. Oh man, that's funny.
Okay,
he
that's
still might
huge actually, that there's no Reaver, because if there were a Reaver here, I mean, without the Reaver, you can grind this down with links over time. We have a Broodling going down, actually, on just Dragoons. That's what he has to do, I think.
Yeah, we see a big wave of red moving from the left side. Broodling's starting to kick off, and this could be a hold from cRoSs.
Yeah,
but still, significant damage. Been done.
It's just Broodling and everything. But imagine if we had a Reaver here, killing all the drones at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Reaver would have turned this into a massive win. I mean, he could have been on the mineral line, the main. This is the Hive, so, I mean, if it does inevitably go down, then it would be big damage. 22, 23 kill Archon. And that Archon is angry. 26 kills. We are seeing some more Zealots slowly trickling in. I think SuGo's realized this has been a really good timing. I mean, this is definitely throwing cRoSs off here.
cRoSs,
31,
it threw him off.
34.
Like, he's floating on money because he doesn't have enough larva. So honestly, like an ultra cavern right now, just to be more larva efficient would help him. But even without that, I think the swarm of cracklings that just keeps coming is going to ease up finally.
Look at that positioning with this Archon. 40 kills, and you know it's only going to be Zerglings, so he's probably going to get a few more here at least.
Yeah, let's we have some more spawn Broodling ready to clear out those blockings out. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. You see that annoying Ling right there?
Yep. Cannons going down mid-right, though. cRoSs really trying to prevent any additional bases from going up here.
Okay, finally a Sunken Colony is going to flush these Zealots out, and we do have the Ultra Cavern coming right now. You know, he could even take down 6 o'clock at the same time at this point, but I think he feels that he just wants to keep all his units guarding his natural, just so he doesn't die, because if he can survive here, he's going to be in a pretty good spot, even now, even after all that damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the 2 gases, remember, from SuGo so far this entire 15-minute game. That being said, though, if SuGo just backed up here, just held his 4th and stabilized for a second, it could be a strong way to play as well.
Looks like we have a counterattack at 6 o'clock, but at the same time, this is a dangerous attack. Oh! These 2 Reavers.
Huge Reaver timing here. And it looks like this is going to do it. I don't know how cRoSs is supposed to react.
Yeah, he doesn't have any Scourge from Mutalisks.
Just burrow, man. Burrow.
Massive!
That was massive. That was massive. Wow, SuGo playing out of his mind here.
You know what really started this whole problem? It was that DT drop in the main, man. Him not having 1 Overlord in the main, just leave 1 Overlord, that's all he needed, and this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yep. That's just how fickle Zerg is, man. It feels like you do 99.9% of it right, and you forget 1 little position. Yep. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and then Protoss and Terran will just mercilessly exploit you for it.
We are getting to see a few big Ultra Boys pop in here, though, so you know what? The moral victory goes to cRoSs.
Well, luckily for him, he was ahead, so we're gonna go to the final game. It's gonna be 1-1 after this, of course, but yeah, he really had this game, dude, but then he just was lacking 1 Overlord in his main.
Yeah, he did, man. I mean, he played very well. It was super cool to get to see this style of play. But yeah, man, SuGo just kind of hold it together. I love the Reaver transition at the end there. That DT drop, as you pointed